guys, welcome to another video. My name is Ndifon Ntui, and on this channel I make sewing tutorials. I post new videos every Wednesdays and Saturdays. If you like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it if you like the video. If you're a beginner or you're a person that wants to just brush up on your skill, I have online courses that can help you with that. I'll be showing a demo how to make a jumpsuit for you to watch and decide if learning online will be convenient for you. If you're interested, please send a WhatsApp message to the number that you can see on the screen. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a lovely day. Bye bye. Alright, so you're welcome. I'm going to show you guys how to make a bubu. Some of you wanted to see how to, or have wanted to see how to draft this in a while, so I thought it was time for me to answer that request. I have the fabric. I think you guys can see it right over here. So that's the fabric there. So I will draft on the paper so that what I'm showing you guys will be a bit clearer, to be a bit easier to explain everything you guys are supposed to understand. So to begin, what I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to draw out a stretch of fabric for my shoulder at the top there. So at the top here, we're going to place the shoulder. So this is the shoulder line. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to find where the hip should be placed. Okay, so I'm going to place this here. Now the person I'm making for her underbust length, yeah, you need the underbust length too. You've seen all the measurements at the beginning of the video. So here we're going to need her underbust length. Her underbust length is 14, so that means her bust line should sit around 10. And then if her underbust length is 14, that means for my underbust length, if you're trying to find your hip, your underbust length to your hip is going to always fall at 10 inches. So if the underbust length is 14, the hip line is going to be 10 inches after the underbust length. So see that's the hip line right there. So this is the line I need. And like I told you guys, in case you're making it for a younger person that wants it to be a bit more fitted. Okay, so now next thing you're going to do is you're going to need to place the bust measurement. Now the bust measurement is 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to place 9.5. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the hip line. Okay, the hip is 41 is 10.25. okay, I'm going to make a mark at 10.25. now the next thing we need to do is just to simply connect the both of them first. Okay, so from here to here, and then it's going to go like that straight down to the end of the paper. Because remember, yeah, and please don't go and do underbust length then bring it in and bring it out. There's going to be something that will fix around where the underbust length is supposed to be. That would make a hole around where the underbust length is going to be, so that you can put a rope through it and tie it so that it gets cinched up to the person's body. Now a bubu is not supposed to be closely fitting on like the line that I have just made here. There's supposed to be some width to it. Okay, it's supposed to be loose on the person's body. So now what I want you to do is, when most of this work will be done on the fabric, I'm just trying to explain what is going on. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a mark at 2.5. so I'm going to mark 2.5 here. I'm going to come here as well. This is the hip line, remember, and I'm going to make a mark here at 2.5 as well. Okay, and then I'm going to draw a line from here down. Okay, from here, and it's going to go straight down. The same thing, just make sure you maintain the 2.5. now the next thing we're going to do is you're going to place your you're going to need to place your neckline. You're going to need to place your neckline. Okay, so now if you are making this for a medium-sized person, if you're making this for a person that has a bust of let's say between 34 all the way up to 40, I'm going to use a neckline width of 4 inches. If you're making it for a person even all the way up to 42, if you're making it for a person that's like from a bust of 44 and all the way up, you might want to open that neckline up to 5 inches so that it fits the person. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is, the person I'm making it for has a bust of 38, so I'm going to only place this at 4 inches. And then for the depth, I want you to come down by 2.5. well, when it comes to the neckline of a bubu, there's so little that you cannot do. Okay, the sky is the limit. This draft is quite close to what I did on the poncho. Okay, so you see the way the neckline on that one was, you can do the same thing here. There's only a limit to what can be done to the neckline. I think it would also I would also show you guys how to go about drafting different necklines on different bubus if you guys want that. I think I will try to. I think a lot of people are interested in bubus and stuff. So anyway, before I digress, that's the neckline that we're going to be using. Now there is not going to be any shoulder slants. All right. Okay. So the only place that we're going to cut off is here. So we're going to come here and we're going to just simply cut off the neckline. Now all these lines that I've shown you guys, okay, we'll need to stitch it on the fabric. We'll need to make these stitches on the fabric. And before we get to the fabric again, another thing you should know is that when you are placing, if you notice, I didn't place the shoulder measurement. I didn't mark the person's shoulder the way I place my shoulder, that the shoulder divided by 2, then I'll make a mark here. I didn't do that because when you are placing your stitch, you want when you are making your armhole, the armhole is just going to be a hole that you will not stitch. So you see this line here, we're going to run a line all the way down. Now if you are making this for a person of this body size, that's the person has a bust of 38, you're going to want to use roughly 9 inches for the gap that you will leave. So from the half-inch line that I have at the top of the paper all the way down to here, we're going to leave 9 inches. If you're dealing with a person with a bust size of 44 and up, you might want to bring that down to 10. If you're dealing with, if you find the rare cases where you have bust like of up to 50 something, bring it down again by 1 inch. All right, so that's it. This armhole here is more than enough for the person, but you don't want the armhole sitting exactly where the person's armholes, where you don't want the fabric sitting, the line sitting too close to the person's actual armhole. If not, it's going to make it look very, very uncomfortable. Even if the person isn't, it's just going to look wrong. All right, so now let's move on to the fabric. All right, now when it comes to bubus, people prefer using, there's a wide range of fabrics that you can use to make a bubu. People prefer using fabrics that are more fluid. When I say fluid, I'm talking about fabrics like fluid. You see what I'm talking about? Fabrics like silk, chiffon, high quality damask, fabrics that are silky, soft, fluid in the hands. People prefer using that, but you can also use cotton if you want to use it. If you want to, sorry. So now when you are getting your fabric, first of all, they are different when it comes to fabrics, right? There are different lengths that you have. Okay, there are different widths that you have. Now you see this part here with this frayed end, with the end that was frayed. This is the edge here. Now this is where when you are buying your fabric, this is where they measure it for you. Sorry for the people that have that are a bit advanced, that know all of this, but let me explain it for the newbies. You see this edge here, this is where they will count your yards for you. So this is 1 yard, then they'll count 2 yards, 3 yards. Okay, so now that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this other end here. When you are trying to make bubus, you see this end where they cut, you want this end to be at least by 60. Okay, so you see this end here that is not finished like this other end here. You see that you want this end here to be by 60, meaning if you measure from the top here, all the way to the end, the other end where the studs will come out of, you want it to be 60 inches. Okay, that way it's going to give you a nice sleeve length for your bubu. All right, and then what I did is, when I buying the fabric, you want to buy at least 3.5 yards, depends on the person's height, but yeah, the length of the bubu I'm dealing with is 60 inches. It's 62 inches for the length, sorry. So I got 4 yards. There'll be a little bit left, but I'll use that for the belt. So I got 4 yards for the fabric that I'll be working with. So make sure it's at least by 60. That's what you should take away from here. Okay, and now the next thing you're going to do is this. Is what I want you to do. I want you to place your fabric on the table. Okay, use your measuring tape, measure out the dress length. Now this is bustier cotton, so you see from this end here, I want you to measure out the dress length. So you see from the very edge, okay, I want you to measure out the dress length. Okay, so you see that I'm still measuring. Look at where I started from. Okay, and then we'll keep going. So I'm going to use the whole tape. Remember, mine is longer than 60, so I'll just use the whole tape. When you found this end, okay, I want you to hold it like so. So you see that I've gotten to the end of the tape, so I want you to securely hold it like so. And then when you've held that place, bring the side like this. So you see this. If you want, you can make a little notch there so that you don't misplace, this place doesn't get lost. So you can make a notch like so to always tell you that this is your dress length. Okay, this is where the shoulder is going to be. Then I want you to take this other end and measure out the whole thing. Okay, so you see this, measure out the whole thing. Okay, so see this, we're going to measure down to here. Sorry it's taking so long, and I'm going to keep going. Okay, keep going. Now mind you, I added a clean 4 inches to my length. Okay, sorry, 2 inches to my length. So you see this, now I've gotten to the end of the other side. You see this end here, this is where I started measuring my dress length from. Okay, so now when you've gotten to that end, you see this, this is going to be the top and this is going to be the hem. When you've gotten to this point, I want you to make a notch. Okay, make a notch, and then you can, it doesn't go one way. So this is the excess I'm going to use for making my belt. Now you see what we have on the table. This piece here is what I'm going to use for the bubu. Alright, so now to proceed, let me arrange everything. What you're going to do is you're going to come to the other side too. So you see this side here, this is where I made the notch. Okay, you see this part here, this way I made a notch. I need to do the exact same thing on the other side. Now when I say the other side, please watch closely at look at what I'm doing. See where my hand is now. You're going to come all the way to the other part of the bubu. Now there's the other side that's also finished like so. We're going to come and go all the way to the top. We also need to make a notch on this side so that it'll be easy to fold it. Okay, so we come here too, and then we make a notch here so that this shoulder will rhyme with the other shoulder. So when we make a notch here, you can easily place the both of them together now. So just simply look for where you made a notch before and align it with this part. You see where we made the notch before, align it with this part, and then you need to straighten out the whole thing and lay it flat. So you see this, sort of like you're folding for a fillet. Okay, you fold it sort of like you're folding for a 360-degree fillet. So now I'm going to place it like this, and I'm going to make sure that everything is laying completely flat. So you see this, look at what I'm doing. You see this, look how it's folded in two. I'm taking my time because I know that this can be quite confusing for a person that's trying to do it the first time. So you see this, look how it's folded. Look at, you want the two notches to align here, and then you want everything underneath to be completely smooth. So it's going to look like madness when I'm trying to do all of this, so I'm going to just go ahead and arrange everything else. But that's the basic principle. Make sure that this part here is flat, make sure that the two places that you notched here are sitting well together, and then arrange all the other fabric. Make sure, since it's chiffon, you want to take your time and fold everything. If it's silk, the same thing. If it's damask, the same thing. Take your time, fold the whole thing, and keep the whole thing completely flat all the way down to the end. Okay, all the way down there. You want to make sure that everything is completely smooth. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, fold everything I'm doing, and then we'll be back. Alright, so you can see I folded here. Look at, we have 1, 2, and then look at where we have the notches. The two notches are sitting on that end. The two notches are sitting on that end right there. Now the only thing we're going to need to cut out, like we did on the paper, would be the neckline. Well, I want you guys to pay very close attention. Alright, so check this out. You place the paper on top. Pass with your plain Jerry. Why are you making noise? Look, I'm sure you guys now know that I live close to an airport. Thank you very much. Alright. Look how you come to me and expose my location. Now you see what I'm doing here now. We don't need this ½ inch at the top, but there are bubbles where you want to join the shoulder. Then you can employ the ½ inch. But as you can see, the top here is folded, where we have the two folds. I'm going to push this one up. You see that? Push up the ½ inch because I don't need it here, and then I'm going to cut the neckline open. All right, so you see that part right there, here, the neckline. I'm going to chop it off now. Okay, so now we've opened the neckline in both places, the front and the back. Now if you see, because of the way I folded it, any cut you make in the front, please know that it's going to affect the back too, so you can do whatever you want to do with that information I just gave you. So what that also means is that you can wear this any which way. This can be worn in a reversible manner, so there's no wrong side. No side is the front, no side is the back, because of how I've cut the neckline. But it's possible to cut the neckline differently, especially if you want to attach a collar. I think I'm going to have to make a lot of videos on different types of bubus, because I've seen some interesting things online. If you want me to make more videos on different types of bubus, especially what's going on around the neck, let me know in the comment section below. I really appreciate that. So you guys can see, please make your requests in the comment section. The last 2 videos that I dropped on Wednesday and the one I'm dropping today was, you know, where me granting people's requests that they were dropping from the comment section. And no, in the comment section, don't send me any requests on my WhatsApp, please. I'm tired of talking to you people. Please leave me alone. Don't mind me. I really enjoy this job. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. You see this part here, we've cut the neckline. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come to the armhole. Now you guys know where I marked X on the armhole, where I dropped the armhole from here to here. Okay, so you see this place here that we placed the armhole. We're going to flip open the paper, come to that point there, and I'm going to mark X there. You see that I've marked X there. That's all we're going to need. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I keep my finger on it. You see that? Keep my finger on it like so. Flip over to the other side and make an X in the exact same place, but on the reverse side. Okay, now you guys see this. I'm going to go to my machine. I'm going to sew from here all the way down, but I will show you guys what I'm doing. But now if we open it up, if I open it up, you guys check this out. Look at that. Now we have the neckline. Look at where I marked on the reverse side. I hope the camera is picking it up right here. Okay, that's where I marked on the other side, and look at where I marked too. Okay, so you see this, we have started making the bubu. Okay, so now we have come to the sewing machine. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to need to stitch from that place that we marked with the pink thread, from top all the way to bottom. So here you can see we have the neckline, both front and back, the same thing like I told you guys. So you're going to need to flatten everything out. Okay, you're going to need to keep the edge straight. So when I say the edge, what do I mean? I'm talking about this edge. See this edge here? When you keep this edge here straight while you are sewing, every other thing will fall into place. Okay, so what you need to do is you're going to push this in. Remember that point that we marked our armhole, okay, where we marked the X for our armhole. All right, we're going to need to start stitching from there, from the top all the way down. So make sure that everything is balanced at the shoulder. Make sure that everything is balanced and flat. Drop your presser foot down and start stitching. Just always make sure that this edge over here, okay, make sure that this edge over here is perfectly balanced while you sew. And if you do that, everything inside is going to be okay. You don't want the edge here, one coming out and one being in. Okay, so make sure that edge is balanced and all will be well. So we're going to start from here. This is the space for the armhole that I kept, like I told you guys, not to sew too close to the top so that doesn't make the space for the person's arm too small. We're going to start sewing from here, from the top all the way down. Okay, so we're going to back stitch. Okay, and then we're going to run from the top here all the way to the bottom. Now when you're 5 inches before you get to the end, what I like doing before 5 inches before I get to the end is I like to lock it and backstitch at that point. I don't run from the top all the way down. When I'm 5 inches close to the end, you want to stop and backstitch it like I have done. Okay, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. So you guys remember this other side here that I had marked? Where is it? I'm trying to locate it. Okay, now you guys see the other side here where we have the X mark. You want to do the same thing to this part too, so that's what I'm going to do. So still the same thing I'm going to do here, and I'm 5 inches close to the end, back stitch it and lock it. Now the next step is we're going to need to turn the neckline. Now you've seen the neckline. Remember what I told you guys, you can also treat the neckline the same way I did to the neckline on the poncho, okay? But as for this, I'm going to finish the neckline with a bias, okay? Okay, now the next part is we're going to need to work with some bias. For the next part, we're going to need to work with some bias. Now what I want you to do is, if you are not a new subscriber, you must have seen me use this before. I want to use it to turn the neckline. In case you're new here, this is cotton bias. What I'm going to simply do with it is this. I'm going to, so you see when you open it, there's a crease right there in the side. When you open it, you can see inside there are 2 creases. What I want you to do is I want you to fold it like so, okay? Now I'm going to sew from the wrong side out. Place it onto the fabric like so, and then you're going to sew on the crease, okay? So please watch this. I'm going to go around it. Okay, and then I'm going to go all the way. Now after we are done going around, we're going to have to stitch everything to the front side, okay? Now you see this neckline, we're going to need to bring the bias outside here to the front. So I'm going to start from where I have the joining, okay? You see this, turn out the excess. Come, let me trim off something. Turn out the excess to the front. You see that? And then we're going to need to stitch all the way around. So you see this, we're going to go all the way around from here. So as you guys can see, I am back to the beginning. And with that I'm done with the neck. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need to hem the sides. Now you see the sides that we left like so with this trim. It's not nice. We're going to need to hem it in. So to do that, we're going to come all the way down to the end here, and we're going to simply go from here. You know how to hem something, just simply bend the first ½ inch, bend another ½ inch again, and I'm going to go from here all the way around to the other side. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is the neckline. Okay, so this is the neckline where we have the bias. You can see that this end is no longer white. That's because I have finished it completely with the hemming that I was hemming. Okay, so I've gone from all the way around, so you can see all of here is perfectly hemmed all the way down to the other side. Okay, has been hemmed. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side of the shoulder, so you guys know that we still have this part here. We're going to have to hem here too, so let me hem that. We'll come back and then we would hem the bottom. Okay, so now you see the edge of the sleeve here too has been finished. Now not all bubus should be finished, must be finished like this. Okay, you mustn't just hem the sides. Okay, you can use a lace trim to finish it. When it comes to bubus, like I think I've said that before, the limit of, in fact, so in generally when it comes to clothes, the limits that you have is the limit of your creativity. Okay, so you can push the boundaries for whatever you want. I'm just here to show you the basics on how it should be done. You just apply that the best way you see fit. Okay, now back to what we're doing. So now you see the hem here. This is the hem, the same way I've finished here. This is the down part. Okay, so you see this is the side we just hemmed alongside with the other parts that we have over here. So now I'm going to bend the hem as well. Okay, so it's still the same thing I did before. I'm going to simply fold ½ inch, fold ½ inch again, and then I'm going to finish here from the beginning all the way down to the end, and then we're basically done. But I have a little bonus in case you want to, you know, spice up the bubu. But it's still the same thing I did before. I'm going to simply just bend here. I'm going to start from here and I'm going to sew all the way down. Okay, so let me do that. I'll do that to this part I'm on now, and then I'm going to do that also to the other side of the hem that I have over here. So let me hem both sides and then for the bonus. Now, so as you guys can see, after you hem the end of the dress, you are done with the with your work basically. But if you want to, you know, add a bit of flair to it, and you're making it for a person that wants it to be a bit shapy, you can do what I have done on this part. Okay, so now you've seen there's a hole here. Now this hole will allow you to put a rope through here and all the way to the other side to create a cinched in waistline. Okay, so now how do you do that? What you do, for me, I want the cut to be, the hole to be at my under bust length. If you want, you can bring it a bit down to where your half cut will be. That's 2 inches after your under bust length. So what do? We come, since I want it at my under bust, to start from my under bust length, I will come to, you see this part here, to the very top here, okay, my shoulder line, okay, and then I will place my under bust length. Look at it, I'm working on the same line. I'm working around the same line where I have the line, the stitch that I made on the side. Okay, I'm still working on that same place. Now you see this, 14 inches is my under bust length, so I'm going to come to 14 inches and I'm going to use a chalk to outline my 14 inches. That is where my under bust length is. Then you're going to need to cut a piece of fabric like this. Now this can easily be done if you have a buttonhole machine, but not everybody has access to a buttonhole machine, so this is a way to get around that problem. Sorry. So you can see here I have a 2x5. You see this is 2 inches by 5. Okay, so this is 2 inches by 5. What you're going to do is this: you're going to take the middle. Okay, after you cut the fabric, you might want to iron it down or make a crease like I have just done. You see that you can fold it like this and iron it, or use your hands and just simply press it. When you've done that, you're going to come to this place where you made this half-inch mark and place the center on the center. Leave 1 inch at the top here. Okay, and then you're going to turn everything around. Please watch what I'm doing. Keep it like that. Turn everything around like so. Okay, and then we're going to come to this line here. Okay, so make sure that you're landing right on where you made that notch. I want you to stitch 1 inch across the both sides. So you see that I've made a 1 inch stitch across that 14 where I made the mark, and after you do that, you're going to sew down 3 inches. Make sure that everything is flat. Chiffon tends to dance, so please make sure that you're in control the whole time. We're going to stitch down. Okay, and when you're 1 inch close to the end, you would stop there, turn the whole thing again. We're trying to stitch a rectangle around. Okay, we're going to come across it. We're going to come across. Okay, so the same thing, and then from here you're going to go all the way to the top. From here, from this point here, you're going to go all the way up. Okay, so you see that. Now when you've done this, you're going to need to cut it open. Now how do we cut it open? For that, I'm going to need a very sharp scissors. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so now after you've come this far, what you're going to do is this: you're going to pick it up, make a cut. See this, I'm going to cut, come close to the end and make a snake tongue, sort of how you make a welt pocket. In fact, this is basically the same thing as the first step of making the welt pocket. Make a snake tongue at the end as well. Okay, so you see that after you've done this, you're going to turn everything inside out. So we're going to need to go to the opposite side. So we flip over to this side, turn everything, turn everything inside out from here, please. Okay, so you see, turn everything inside out, and then we're going to need to press and iron this flat. So I'm going to go and iron this part here completely flat like so, so you can see the way it's flat. Then I'm going to need to tuck here under, so I'm going to also iron here. I'm going to fold here 1/2 inch and iron. Fold the same thing, 1/2 inch on all sides. Here flat 1/2 inch, here flat 1/2 inch, and also fold 1/2 inch at the bottom as well. So iron it flat, then fold all ends underneath. So I'll be back. Alright, so you guys can see here I have bent all 4 edges in after ironing it flat. Now I'm going to simply just stitch around the top. Okay, just stitch on top of it as close to the edge as possible. I've made a hole. Now this hole will allow us to, because of this hole that we've made, I've made the same hole on the other side here as well. By the time we put a rope from the back into the front, we can bring the waistline together. Watch that, look at this. So you see up here we would have the bust, and underneath here would have the rest of the dress, and there's going to be a hole here for a belt, to come through. Okay, so that's how you get that done. Thank you for watching. I would see you guys in the next class. Don't forget to drop your video requests on in the comment section, and also if you have any questions, drop in the comment section. If you want me to make different types of bubus, especially when it comes to the necklines, the necklines can get really crazy. Let me know. I would make more videos on that topic. All right, so see you guys next week. Have a nice weekend.